I got it for 3 reasons. Right time, right place, and right
Is
God.
that fake chest hair?
Yes, it is fake chest hair. I did it so you could see the Star of David a little better.
That's really funny.
This is where the troops go in the back right there.
I doubt you were a kid maybe back then, but did you grow up on Lilo and Stitch, or was that something that you like endeavored in?
Yeah, no, I was still a kid. I'm 30, so I'm not too old. I'm not. No offense to Trey. I'm not Trey's age. No.
Okay.
But what year were you born?
I was 98, so I'm only a few years behind you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 94, so yeah. I was a kid. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun. I loved his little like accent.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Can't do it, but.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I
loved it.
I just realized this. We could nerd out right now since we were in the same age group. Kind of. I mean, we grew up basically on the same shows, the same. Like.
For sure.
Yeah. What was your?
Yeah, 100%.
Was Lilo and Stitch your big show? Or what was the one that you grew up on back in the day?
In terms of like animated movies, Tarzan takes a cake.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck it was. I just wanted to be him. I wanted to be out there on the freaking trees, swinging around, like.
Yeah.
Shirt off, but obviously couldn't do that, unfortunately. But
yep.
Tarzan was my go-to, and then Prince of Egypt. And I've been too old for you, but the Prince of Egypt, I don't know why that got me too. I think it was the soundtrack.
Yeah,
the soundtrack was banging. So
I did not.
How about you?
So I was gonna say I didn't watch that one as a kid, Prince of Egypt. But when I was on my second deployment, it was a Mew, so we just had a lot of time to goof around and watch movies. I saw that for the first time. I'm like, where was this when I was a kid? Very, very underrated.
I know. No, super underrated. And you know the scene where he's dreaming, having a nightmare, and he's being chased, but it's like 2-dimensional, and he's on a wall. I had that like stuck in my head as a kid. It just freaked me out because, like, I don't know. There's something about. I don't know, something about the animation then, even though it was a lot less and worse quality than now, there was something eerie about it. So I just remember like being freaked the hell out as a kid watching that specific scene. So yeah, we're the same age group, so we can talk about,
That's dope. We got a lot of
the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this because I do this. I've been starting to do this as a new thing to like call like older guests, like if they got people on. But since I do credit Trey, where's the camera at? Trey Woods, thank you for helping set this up. Should we give him a call just to goof around with him?
Yeah. I'm sure he's gonna say some unhinged, funny stuff that's gonna have us laughing. So why not?
I'm trying to think.
See if he's awake.
Because we both have headphones on right now, but I don't know if he'll be able to hear the both of us. If we figure this out here.
He's East Coast, so he should be awake. Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 1.
It's 1 o'clock. I don't
1
know.
o'clock.
It's past noon.
He's at
30.
the gym right now. Yeah, he's at the gym. He's training or something.
Trying to work on being a better corner man for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Was he random?
But I don't know if you watched. Not this last fight, but the fight before, he was one of them. But he posted a video of him fighting. I think it had to have been like 7, 8 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I forget, like, this man doesn't just train, like he was freaking crushing people in MMA too. So I know it's harder to get fights in North Carolina. In general. I mean, I struggle with it out there, so I don't know if he wants to fight again. I don't know. I've talked about it a little bit. I think he was interested in doing like bare knuckle, but it's hard out there. It's a little bit more difficult,
Oh yeah, I feel it. Oh, and that's another thing, by the way. I didn't know this about you until you're in the Hall of Fame for boxing in the Marine Corps. I didn't even know that, by the way. Yeah,
no, I am. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got inducted in 2022 after we had the team for about 2 years, and we went to all these national tournaments and accomplished a good bit. And I was inducted at the end of 2022, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, well, this would be a whole subject, but like that really baffles me because I don't know. I've known maybe like one person who competed athletically for Marine Corps anything, But like, can you
Yeah.
just like walk me through what was the process of like, okay, you find out about the boxing team, you want to go, like, what's that whole experience like?
Well, it's weird because they used to give you like 3-year orders, and it used to be like basically your job / MOS for, it could be 3 years. Some people freaking did like 7, 8 years. But as time went on, there was really some sad things that happened with the boxing team. I don't know if you remember that there was actually like a death. Someone was in the ring for I think an hour straight, and they were doing round robin, and he had like severe brain damage. And probably shouldn't say that, but that was a long time ago. So they cut the team because of that, and then they brought it back. But when they brought it back, we only had like TAD orders.
Oh, okay.
So unlike the wrestling team, our like commitment to the team, our time that we could be on the team was pretty short. I was at the end of my commitment, so I just did 2 years. But most of the Marines on the team, they only had anywhere between 6 months to like a year, and then they had to go back to the fleet. But if you didn't have like the normal 3-year orders, you had TAD orders, and your job basically becomes to be an athlete for the Marine Corps. And so our days were training 3 times a day, running on the track outside, like a timed 3 miles fast as you can on the track. It's 100 freaking degrees outside. It was hard. And then you would go do boxing and sparring like 2 hours later, and then you go do a lift an hour and a half after that. So like when you talk about it and you think like, oh, being an athlete as your job, that's so skate or whatever, that sounds so fun. It is super fun. It was a great time, but like it takes a toll on you, and it's no joke. And it was like physically some of the hardest training I think I've ever done. So it was difficult for sure.
No, yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you're literally like your job's being a professional athlete. I mean, it's all you're doing is just training, training.
So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, was it because I imagine there's not a lot of Marine Corps boxers as far as I know, but especially women boxers, I imagine. Like, so was that like, was it even competitive for you to get in, or like how was it? Were there other women with you when you trained there?
There were just to get on the team. I can't say it was competitive really for anybody, male or female, because we were also limited in our scope of who we could get on the team. Like 90% had to come from East Coast. So, and I mean, quite honestly, most of the boxing, I think from my perspective, most of the boxers that I knew were West Coast. So a lot of California people in Texas, that's where a lot of Marines who did boxing as a kid, that's where a lot of them were stationed. So again, just being transparent, some of the kids that made, not kids, but some of the Marines that made the team had never boxed before, ever in their life.
Excuse me?
Swear to God. Yeah, so we were not starting from a standpoint of like, oh, everyone here has a background in boxing. Like for the wrestling team, you have to have a background in wrestling.
Yeah.
I tried to make the wrestling team actually back in 2019, and that was a whole other ordeal because I was at a track unit, and they hate when officers leave to go do sports. So, but when wrestling, for example, has tryouts and they make their team, every single person was at least a high level high school wrestler for the most part. At least high school. A lot of them even did some college wrestling. Some of them did college wrestling all 4 years. They were officers. For boxing, totally different story. Like there were a handful that were very athletic. So some of them that made the team that never boxed before, they were very athletic. They were very fit, and they had like potential. Yeah. One of them was my teammate, Keon White. He's still in the Marine Corps. He's awesome. He picked it up super fast, and he actually went like 9-0. Like his first year in the amateurs, he was undefeated.
Okay.
And he actually crushed it. So that was like a very rare case, though. Usually, if you're learning a sport at 19, 20 years old, it's a little bit, it's a little later in life, so there's going to be a learning curve, but there were exceptions. But the majority had some kind of mixed martial arts or martial arts background, whether it be kickboxing, wrestling, and a few already had boxing experience. I had boxing experience. We had a Lieutenant Vernon at the time. He was awesome. He he had boxing experience in college as well. I actually knew him from boxing in college. He boxed at Penn State, and then there were a few more that had, like Mario Castellon. He boxed as a kid, but it was just a whole range and variety of different experience levels from 0 to like, decent amount. So
it almost you almost give it the impression that it sounds like just any like gym off the street, where it's just like you have trial class guys and then you have some guys that have just been doing it because they have nothing else to do a little bit. But I mean, it sounds like you guys have some accolades though.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think too that boxing in general is like, it's really like the misfit toys of athletes, because it's just a lot of people that box come from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that box are doing it to like prove something. You don't play basketball to prove something. Like you don't play football to prove something. Like
No.
boxing and fighting in general, it's like you're doing it because you're a little crazy. So
Yes.
that's why I feel like there's definitely something that bonds fighters together. Like there's like a few missing screws up there. So that I feel is the one thing that unified everybody, whether you were just beginning as a boxer or someone that had been doing it 10 years, is like a little bit of a craziness. So
Oh, of course. I don't think the recruiters mentioned that, but I think that's actually like in the paperwork you sign at MEPS. Like you have to have like autism or some type of like,
something
insecurity to get in. That's like easily.
100%. You have to like to go through all that and to be like, yeah, okay, we're doing that. There's times where you're doing things and you're like, am I crazy or is this insane? Like this is freaking, like even being as a tracker, you're seeing things. We'll probably get into that, but like, I'm like asking my Marine, okay, is our comm equipment working? Is this working? Is this like, are we able to splash this vehicle?
Uh-huh.
And he goes, 1 second, ma'am. And he freaking, I swear to God, he's like, I'm working on it, but hold on. Let me show you a trick. He takes out MRE cheese and a washer and he starts doing something behind the comm equipment.
Uh-huh.
And he's like messing with it. And then he tested something out. Again, I don't understand the comm equipment to this day. I barely understand it. Don't tell anybody, but and then he goes, oh, it's working now. It's like, good to go, man. That's good old trick that I learned from MOS school. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is insane. Like you literally use MRE cheese and a washer to fix. It's just different breed. Definitely have to have a little bit of craziness. So
absolutely. Very well. So how, yeah. So right now you're I don't know. I'm still nerding out over the boxing thing a little bit, but right now you're professional. But like, how was your fight schedule? Like, who did you fight when you were in the Marine Corps boxing team? Did you just like pick up random people from like barracks that were like wanting to start shit? Or like was it like organized or how did that operate?
Yeah. We were all technically amateur boxers within USA Boxing when we were on the team with the Marines. So that was all amateur boxing, which you have puffy gloves, 10, 12-ounce gloves, depends on your weight, headgear, and you fight 3-minute rounds. Amateurs is, if you can imagine like the Nationals, the Olympics, the Pan American Games, those are all amateur boxing tournaments in status. Amateurs don't get paid to fight, and they are not signed to promoters. They don't really have managers, right? Yeah. Once you're a professional boxer, which I am now, that's when headgear comes off. You got 8-ounce gloves. You usually have a manager. You usually signed to a promoter, and you're fighting for like big money. Not always big money. And we'll get into that later too. A lot of times in beginning stages of a pro career, you don't make anything. You actually lose money. But once you start making it up the ranks, then you start fighting, on big stages. You're in Madison Square Garden fighting for a world championship, 15,000 people, whatever the case may be. Yeah. That's completely separate from the Olympics, from the amateurs. They're almost two different sports. Even the styles are very different. Yeah. 12 rounds is the most. For women, it's 10 2-minute rounds. For men, it's 12 3-minute rounds. It's more like a marathon than a sprint.
No, of course.
So a little bit more exciting to watch too, because if you think about like amateurs, is more of a point scoring type sport. You're trying to convince the judges that you landed more point scoring blows, and then It's not really about damage, because in the amateurs, you can land one hard punch that really rocks your opponent, but that opponent landed 3 little shots on you. The judge is going to give the exchange to the person that landed 3.
Yeah.
In the pros, it's the opposite. It's like, what's the damage being done? If you're throwing little pitty patter punches, but this guy sits in with a hard punch and stumbles you, they win the exchange. So that's like a small example of how they're different sports. So while I was in the Marine team, all of us were amateurs. We went to National Golden Gloves, the USA Nationals. I actually got on Team USA while I was with the Marine team. So in 2021, I got invited out to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. That was my first time ever doing anything with Team USA. And then following that, I won my second USA National tournament.
Okay.
And then I went on to win the Olympic trials later down the road in 2023. So by the time I was done with the amateurs, when I was with the Marine team, I won 4 nationals. I was on Team USA for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And then I won the Olympic trials. That was about a year after being active duty.
Okay.
All in the reserves. After 2022, I was in the reserves. I'm still in the reserves now, but,
Mm-hmm.
and then last year, May is when I officially decided moving to California and starting my pro career. So now I'm 3-0 as a pro, but
Yeah.
that's kind of how it looked with the Marine team.
No, absolutely. But, and no disrespect to your career choices, but what are you still doing Marine Corps anything for? What are you like, it's a very successful pro boxer. I don't know how the money is, obviously, but it's like,
I'll just be completely real, right?
yes, please.
I could be naive for thinking this, but it was kind of I don't want to say transactional mindset, but I was thinking I can get something out of being a Marine while in the boxing world, and they can get something from having a female Marine. I shouldn't say female because I can't mention anything DEI related, but having a Marine pro boxer that is, a captain and is a professional fighter. I thought there was ways that I could use that as branding. And I'm not saying it's not happening,
Yeah.
but it's happening a little bit slower than intended. But I thought that there was a way to, have almost have it as a branding technique and tool, but also I didn't really want to completely get out, because there's still aspects of the Marine Corps that I do enjoy and that I do love. And I love Marines, to this day, having conversations with straight up civilians that never served. I still can be awkward. You know how it is?
Yeah.
There's certain things, we say or simplify, or just random things going crazy at certain times, in the gym, or just running or being motivated. There's
that
certain
never
things
changes.
that we're always gonna have that, and being on time to things, and checking your freaking watch and being okay, I gotta go. There's just certain things that we do that doesn't always translate to the civilian world as well. It can be very helpful, but I'm saying civilians don't always understand it. They think that we're uptight. They think that we're OCD, and that we, which, we can be a little bit. So part of me was let me stay in the reserves, because I still want that connection as well. Not just to use it as branding in the Marine Corps, or as a pro boxer, but, so it's kind of twofold, but I don't have to be in the reserves.
Yeah. But I like that idea, though. It's a very, because a lot of fighters forget this, that you're not, and I don't know if you look at it from the entertainer side of things, but a lot of people forget that you're not an athlete. You're there to bring a show to a crowd. And so, having whether it be you're a Marine, or whether it be you're Sugar Sean O'Malley and you got wild hair or something, it's you need to bring more than just what you bring as an athlete. So, I mean, I think you're thinking in the right track.
No, you're 100% right. And no offense to Sugar Sean, but when you take the hair color out, the tattoos out, and the Lamborghinis and everything, and you just look at the guy straight up, he's not super interesting and super exciting. And even when he talks, it's but all those things that he's added to his appearance and to his character make him interesting. And in fighting especially, it's not just about fighting, like you said. Like, you have to be entertaining in and out of the ring. You have to have something about you that is interesting to people. There has to be a human interest story. Because if there's not, then it's like, okay, what makes you different from every other fighter out there that puts on the gloves and punches the bag? You know, like, there has to be some kind of something that's defining you outside of just being a boxer. And for me, I think being a Marine is special. I mean, Jamel Herring did it before me, and there's other Ken Norton, there's other people that have done it before me. I'm just trying to also use that and bring that out as part of my like personality, you know?
No, of course.
As a boxer.
Now, I will be curious about this one, but I am, and you know, obviously, as we all know, you know, some Marines don't like the idea of having to like maybe serve under women. But since you are an exception rather than the generality, do you, using your boxing background, have you scared a few people straight into like, you know, you're someone serious to take? Because like I imagine, you know, it's like you have the power of God in your hands, so you could easily you know, do some damage if anybody wants to put disrespect on the name.
So I'll kind of give you a story on that. When I first got to my track unit, again, I was a tracks officer, still am technically, but now they're actually fully gotten rid of 1803 AAVs. Now it's transitioned to the ACVs, which is the 1804 MOS, which is different schooling. And so I'm actually in an outdated MOS, but nonetheless, when I showed up, I asked the guy I was replacing, this is like the week of turnover. I was like, so, and this is 2018. I had gone to MOS school 2017. Combat Arms had opened up to women in the Marine Corps 2016. So
Okay.
in perspective, I was the first female platoon commander on the entire East Coast.
Okay.
There was one named Clinky. She was West Coast, and I was East Coast. So in the entire Marine Corps, there was, at this time, 2 female AAV officers. 2.
Man, okay.
Like, that's crazy, right? So I was the first, and I asked the guys replacing that week, I was like, so what do the Marines think? You know, what are they saying? And he just gives me this look, and he's like, to be honest with you, they don't really want you to be their platoon commander. They don't want you here. I'm just being real with you. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm being honest. You asked, you know, and that, like, that was a horrible feeling. Because at this point, man, I had spent, like, I think about halfway through the Naval Academy, I had decided, maybe even honestly after 1 year, decided I wanted to be a Marine. Actually, I'm going to show you something.
Oh, please.
This is from 6th grade. This is my poetry book from 6th grade.
Okay.
I didn't even know this. I subconsciously wanted to be a Marine. My dad was a Marine.
Okay.
This is camo print, the best I could do.
I will cut you off for just
In
one
here-
second. It matches your, I guess,
Okay.
dress or jacket, by the way, so it's very fitting.
It does. But in here, there's a pig with a freaking Kevlar, and he's saluting. And this is so, in my subconscious, in my brain, I've always wanted to be a Marine, I think. And so when, you know, I went through all the things I did, went to Naval Academy, freaking scraped by, struggled academically, had like a 2.3, made it through, was doing all these crazy freaking training sessions on my own, just beating myself up, like hazing myself to be prepared for TBS so I could be the absolute best, and like, I was doing all these things for years to like prepare to be the best Marine officer I possibly could. And then I get to the moment, I get there, and it's like, you are not wanted here because of something you can't control.
Yeah.
It's something you can't control. It's one, again, I can remember that feeling like yesterday. It was like heartbreaking, you know? And so I did my best to think about what would be the best way to go about all of it. And I knew that physically, I could outperform my Marines for the most part. Some of them were, you know, physical beasts or whatever. But many people think Marines, just because they're Marines, they're in shape and they're super fit. But actually, a lot of them are not. A lot of them, especially if they're working on tracks all day and they're freaking turning wrenches and they have long hours. It's actually kind of hard for them to find time to PT.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised, especially in combat arms MOSs. It's not always that you see like the Marines are like super fit. So
No.
I kind of thought to myself, you know, these guys, they're young men, 90%, 99% are young men who react to physicality more than they react to the words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So if I can show them that I'm not just like physically fit, but I'm really freaking fit, and I can lead from the front, and that I can, just because I'm a female doesn't mean I can't do all those things that they do physically. I think maybe we can get somewhere. So I remember we had like a PFT or something. I got on the pull-up bar. I did 20 pull-ups, and they were like looking at me like, what the hell? Never seen a woman do 20 pull-ups. And then we did a PT run, and we started with like, I don't know, 40, and we ended with like 4.
Yeah.
And then at one point I scheduled a boxing PT. And so I boxed them. And we weren't going crazy.
Yeah.
But like I put on the gloves with the Marines, and we sparred, and like, yes, these were all physically related. But I think that's where I needed to start, to show them like, hey, physically I can keep up. I'm not just, going to be dragging ass behind. Like, I'll keep up and lead from the front for you guys. And then as time went on and we started doing more ops and more training exercises, like I would write these freaking 15-page orders, and we'd go through the plan and go through everything. And, I would be working on a damn terrain model on like a Sunday afternoon, taking my ass three hours to do it, so that on Monday we'd all come in and like they could see, okay, at the very least, she's physically capable and she's mentally capable of making and creating a plan. So that's kind of how I went about it,
And I will ask something
I struggle with
that.
other things though.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's definitely the right way to do it, because I love the way that you phrased it in the beginning, because you had to show it versus just, talking, because human beings are like any other animals. We just do, like, we don't do what we're told. We do what we see, like, is going around us.
100%.
But like when
100%.
But when you had that, when you, I don't know who it was you talked with, but when they said, yeah, I'll just be honest with you, they don't like you from the get-go. Like, I could see how anybody would take that to heart, or just, immediately find a reason to quit in the beginning. And maybe that ran through your mind at first, but what was your thought process in thinking, how am I going to handle this, even though I'm not here yet, but I have a good piece of intel of what I'm running into?
Well, I did think too, like, am I going to be the asshole hard charger bitch? Cause they usually expect some, like, especially for women, you're either like a bitch or you're sleeping with everybody. You're like the slutty, whatever. Like, what kind of personality, what kind of person, what kind of leader am I going to be? And I had to make that decision, and it kind of morphed and kind of, it went through ups and downs and left and right. But for the most part, I decided, like, I just had to be myself.
Yeah.
And an example of that, we did Trident Juncture, which is a very short exercise was supposed to be in Norway, but we ended up only making it to Iceland because we had a huge incident with the ship where these LCUs broke loose in the well deck, and we were in port in Iceland for 3 weeks. But while we were getting out to Iceland and we were forward deployed, this was a few months into me being a platoon commander. I purposely brought my guitar. Because I play 5 instruments. I come from a musical background. I sing. Okay. I was in the Glee Club in college.
What accolades do you not have at all? Like, it seems like you could do everything.
No, that's funny. But I appreciate that. But I brought all of it, right? And I remember we're in the mess decks, and everyone's chilling, and I set up everything. I have a loop pedal like Ed Sheeran. I have the same guitar as Ed Sheeran. Okay. I have a video, too. I could send it to you. And I put on a fucking concert for the Marines and sailors. And we're singing. I'm the only officer down there. Again, I'm not being buddy and drinking and hanging out like being a professional. But that was my, like, stuff like that was like my way of bringing out my personality with the Marines, showing that I cared, showing that I want to be with them in the suck, but also showing them, like, I'm not afraid to sing in front of you and to be goofy and to, like, show some of that, like, take the bars off type thing. So little things like that. And then also, I got a lot of, like, criticism for it, but actually, like, I talked to my Marines. Like, the ones that were having issues, I would sit down and actually talk to them like they were a human being. And I guess the sad thing is that in the AAV culture, that's considered being weak.
Hmm.
But the Marines, I felt, and I might be wrong, but I felt that they respected me for having that quality, and it was something that I think was like more like a superpower and a positive thing for them. But on the outside looking in, maybe from like the crusty staff and CO perspective, or from higher, that could be considered too involved. But like,
Yeah, I could see that.
Again, I think that being able to talk to your Marines, having a conversation, getting to know them, knowing things about them that maybe is important to freaking know in case something really bad happens, which I've had, 2 attempted suicides in my platoon, which, looking back, it was like all issues that were happening and I didn't know. And I felt bad. I was like, why didn't I know about this? I felt like some of this was being kind of like blocked from me as a platoon commander, because you know how the relationship can be. It's like, don't let anything get above this level.
Yeah.
But the thing is at the end of the day, when it comes to like mental health and like just struggles in general, you can't suppress all that stuff just to keep it from the ma'am or keep it from the sir.
Yeah.
If it's something that's growing and getting bigger and worse, because eventually it explodes and everyone pays a price. Obviously the victim or the person that's struggling does, but like now you're that platoon that has that incident happen. Now it's like there's a friggin' spotlight on you, not for a good reason. So it was a struggle. But like I said, kind of going back to what you asked, I think that the interpersonal connections that I made with my Marines, and then having personality, not just being, no offense, but the guy that fucking throws in a dip and just talks about the farm or talks about Iowa State wrestling. Like, it just wasn't me. And I wasn't going to be that. I didn't drink. I wasn't going to ever be that kind of person. So I just had to be myself. And that's what I think was the best thing to do. Some could say I failed as an officer. Some could say I succeeded just by surviving. I think by surviving that community, which honestly, if you're a tracker, you're a track officer or AAVs at all, you know that it is one of the most ruthless MOSs in the Marine Corps, not just because of the culture, but for the sheer danger of being in one of those freaking vehicles in the water, in the ocean for sometimes 3 hours. Like, those things are pieces of crap. Like, I hate to say it, but like, they're not reliable. And a lot of times we were pushed to get ops done when our vehicles, I think, were maybe 50% operational readiness, but we're 80 or 90%. You know what I mean, right?
No,
so
yeah, it's the same thing with like when you hear, because I hate this because I feel like the Navy or the Marine Corps always has like a plane or a bird go down every month for the same exact reasons. It's like, I've been in the AAVs before, and we almost had an incident once with not with my section, but with the other one. But yeah, I know exactly what you're literally preaching to the choir. It's definitely a red elephant in the room issue. Yeah, no, it's this is obsession with getting the job done, and like this obsession of the Marines will get it done. It's like, yeah, but what cost? Yeah,
and they even do it in recruiting too. We're gonna make mission. Your guys have not slept or eaten right or have been in the right state of mind for like 6 months. They're not okay.
Yeah,
but you're happy you made mission. Like homeboy looks like he aged 15 years in 5.
Yeah.
Their marriage is falling apart. They're having issues with their kids, but you made mission. It's like so external, and it's so, again, appearance. It's all about like, we are first to do this. We get everything done. Like, I'm going on a rant here, but it's like, but how are people doing? Not great.
Yeah.
And that's like a reoccurring.
I love how you say that, and on your phone, the thumbs up emoji, the bubble pops up.
Yeah, the thumbs up.
Yep.
No, that's ironic, but yeah, it's just like it's very frustrating. And as you saw, I'm sure in 2020 there was a really, really tragic incident in California, Pendleton, I believe.
Oh yeah, was it? I think it was like 8 Marines.
8.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, they unfortunately passed away, and it was in a freaking training. They weren't forward deployed. It wasn't a combat related incident. It was literally they were splashing. They were doing exactly what every AAV platoon does, like on the freaking daily, and it went south. And so it was. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about leadership. I learned a lot about the idea of like you can't win them all. Some people are gonna love you. Some people are gonna hate you.
Yeah.
The same reasons why some people love and respect you can be the same reasons why people absolutely hate you. So, have to have thick skin,
Absolutely.
especially I'm assuming you're infantry.
Yeah.
You're infantry.
0341.
Yeah. So you kind of obviously the combat arms like atmosphere. It's a lot, and you guys probably had it worse than we did because you're like the tip of the spear. We're like driving the tip of the spear around in the water, so we're not quite the tip of the spear. But I'm still grateful I did it. Absolutely would not do it anything differently.
You should be.
I would still have done it. Yeah.
And perfect transition segue. Trey just told me that he is free. He's asking what's up. So give me just 1 minute. I will get him on the phone, and you can embarrass him in any way you want if you have anything.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hey, Lester, is there a way to have the sound like play out loud? Because I'm gonna call somebody because I want him to hear it. Yeah. I just want to make sure like when Stephanie speaks that like it can like the phone can hear it. Does that make sense? All right, yeah, stand by, as they say.
Stand by.
That's another thing that really irks me a little bit is since I've been out for basically longer than I've been in now, like I'm starting to forget some of like the major lingo and stuff that comes about, and it's almost like, I'm scared that I can't relate to anybody anymore that I was in with.
Where do you live in North Carolina?
No, I live in New Mexico right now. I have a travel job of how I work now.
Okay. Did you come to North Carolina at any point? Because I saw Trey was with you physically, right?
Yeah. I went to because what I try to do now, I try to like do all my episodes in person usually, with the exception of a handful like this. So yeah, I went to do one with Trey, and there was a handful of other like 2-8 guys, the unit I was with that I did it with.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, that works. Okay. So, Stephanie, can you try speaking real quick?
Hello, testing 1 2 3.
Okay, sick. All right,
speaking,
I'm gonna call Trey.
1 2 1 2.
Right,
okay, yeah. Here we go.
He should be able to hear it.
Okay.
Wow, it's hot in here.
It's the liner. It looks like it's.
Oh yeah, this is not designed to keep you. Yeah. Shout out Floyd, by the way, for this. I took this when you left.
Oh yeah.
Trey, pick up the phone, dude.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Okay.
The person you're trying to reach.
How could he leave him a nasty voicemail?
All right, you know what? That's actually good. I was gonna say let's wait a minute, but we'll give him a nasty voicemail, or well, I'll let you lead it if that's fine. If he doesn't pick up.
Okay.
All right, we'll give him one more chance.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Hey Trey, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. What's going on?
So I'm doing another episode of 4 Years a Slave, and you can probably guess if you have your thinking cap on, but guess who I just got on here thanks to you.
Stephanie?
Yeah, can you hear him, Stephanie?
Yeah, I can hear him. Can you hear me?
I guessed it too. What's up?
Hello? What's up?
Yeah, I usually just do a lot of calls like this just to like, especially if someone helped to get the episode on. But I was gonna ask Stephanie if she had anything embarrassing about you. She wanted to, let the world know.
I got a good one. Trey freaking punched me one time. We were doing MMA boxing.
Oh, Trey,
we're sparring. You're the woman beater.
Oh, it's on video too. We can see this.
It's on video.
Okay.
And then he said, get in your place, stay in your place. That's what he said. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
Yeah, it's virtual right now. Yeah, we're doing the episode right now. I was just gonna give you a call just to like, kind of lighten up the mood a little bit.
Doing it right now. Oh crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch you doing any like elite. Well, I mean, you're on the phone, so it's not like we can see if you're doing anything bad.
Well, I'm glad you told me now because I was about to wild out, bro.
No, I get you. Well, Trey,
Oh my
I do want to say
gosh.
thank you first and foremost for helping get the episode put up. So that is on you. So much appreciation for that.
No problem, no problem. It's good to hear from you, Seth.
Hello, Trey? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, he said it was good to hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
How's he doing? How you doing, Trey? You all right? Is he doing good? He can hear us? You talking?
She's in the mountains, bro. She has no connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess Trey's struggling to hear you a little bit, but
Okay.
I'll let you go, Trey. Happy Pride Month, but I'll let you go do what you're doing.
Oh shit. That's hilarious. Oh man.
How did you let me put this back on. How did you because I know he's your corner man, but how did you end up like find him? Like, did you train together or anything, or how did you guys get in cahoots?
Yeah, we actually met at a gym called Salty Dog in Wilmington.
Okay.
I started doing jujitsu in like 2019. I did a little in college, but I started getting more serious into it 2019. Then I started actually really getting into MMA, and so he helped me a lot, and we became very close during that time. And yeah, I mean, he would teach me a lot about MMA because it's a lot different than boxing. It's also a lot different than wrestling. So, that's kind of how we became friends, and the rest is history, So, I even have a video. I'm like holding pads for his daughter while he's fighting on the TV. Like,
oh, really?
It's just cool. Like it became, we have very close family, friends, and, yeah, we've definitely had some similar, I guess, experiences. Obviously, he's way more of a badass than I ever was, and combat deployed and freaking hero. I'm not on that level at all, but again, I think that those types of relationships and friendships you make, especially like that, where you guys can relate to boxing and fighting, MMA, but also in the Marine Corps, it's like it keeps you present and it keeps you like in good spirits. Because there were times, obviously we talked about it, a little bit of a struggle in the Marine Corps, but having him as a friend, having him as someone to talk to was definitely helpful, and definitely I'm like grateful I met him, and I'm glad we're still friends to this day, even though we're like 3,000 miles apart. So
yeah.
But Trey, if you're watching, love you, motherfucker.
Love that. Yeah, that is one plus of the fight community. Is there's definitely a very what's the word I'm looking for? Very heavy veteran presence, or like Marine presence. I would say.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels between the two things, and yeah, that's definitely true. In MMA and boxing, wrestling, just martial arts in general. So, but yeah.
Let me pull it up real quick. So,
yeah, I think I told you I'm doing. Go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say? I was just gonna pull up the photo, but what were you gonna say with that?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think I did tell you that I don't know if I told you, but I'm working as a recruiting assistant reservist.
Okay.
Out here in LA. Right now I'm in Washington State. I'm like my hometown right now, but I'm in LA doing basically like assisting for recruiting and kind of seeing that world. And I would say that it is intense. I don't know if you ever knew any recruiters, or you probably did. Obviously you had a recruiter, but
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. They work their asses off. So I just want to do a little shout out to Recruiting Station Los Angeles. I don't know if any of them are watching this or will, but just a little shout out to you guys. Your hard work is not going unnoticed, and I'm happy and proud to be a part of that unit. So, but go on.
You guys are looking for needles in a haystack. We thank you for your service. Much salutes and oblige to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, recruiting duty. I mean, I've never been on it, obviously. I got a lot of friends who I would like serve with that are there now, since they're all like sergeants or staff sergeants. And yeah, it's pretty much like a sales job in a sense. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah. And people, I think now there's a little less of that patriotic like hunger, because we're in like a different time.
Yeah.
I think even for us, like 90s babies, there was still kind of that like, oh yeah, like serve country, hell yeah, you know, Eagles, freaking American flag. But now it's like there's so many different ways and different jobs out there and ways to make money and different things going on in the world. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like it's a little bit more difficult.
It is, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, it's weird because like we went from like being like post 9/11 all gung ho spreading freedom everywhere to now we're like the military is the only institution that has like any trust anymore, and even then that's like barely hanging on by a thread. So it's
exactly.
I mean, times change as you go through the motions, but hey, you do what you can, and I'm sure we'll find whenever the next conflict arises, we'll have something to be proud about and get people in for.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
you asked me about the picture.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go to a lighter note here a little bit and not get all pessimistic.
Okay.
But so what's the I mean, obviously I assume you're in the field, you're in the track, but what's the the background here, the context of the photo?
That was good old 29 Palms. I'm sure you've been a few times.
Yep.
And I just asked someone to snap a pic. That was like the typical, nightly routine. If we weren't sleeping out in tents, we didn't get the hookup with that. So we had to actually all sleep. Our unit had to sleep in tents for about 2 months. And then when we were out in the actual field, we slept in the tracks. But I don't know. There's something like about that picture that I just love. Like, yeah, it's difficult. The track smells like feet and like POLs and all sorts of nasty things. But like, it's just there were times where it really was a fun ass job and like kind of cool. You just be dirty, all nasty, freaking messed up, tattered clothes, and that's your house. That track becomes like your little home. You got your snacks, you got your jet boil.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that'd be a fun game. Spot all like the objects in the room.
Spot all the objects. Yeah, exactly. We did a lot of the what are they called? The hammocks.
Yeah.
There's times where like Marines will set up high hammock 1, high hammock 2, one below it. So it's like you're in like a bunk bed but with hammocks, and then you got usually a Marine will sleep in the driver's station. They'll put their head on the pedal as though it's like a pillow. Marines will sleep on top of the track. It's just like you find a place to sleep, and that's home. So I don't know. Obviously it's like, okay, is it comfortable to sleep on a floor of track? Not really, but there's joy in it. There's joy in that, like, in that shared misery.
It is. I was gonna say, when you mentioned the jet boil, I started looking for it like the I Spy game, but in the top left corner there's like a creepy looking face I just saw like pop out like the Slender Man or something. Who is that in it?
Yeah, that's the Peta. She was like one of the Marines that I got towards the later part of my AAV career, because I did 2 years of AAVs, then I went to MCT, was the EXO MCT, then I did the boxing team. But she was one of the Marines I got later on, and yeah, she was awesome. So I don't know if she's gonna watch this. I'll screen record this and I'll tag her on Instagram and be like, "Here's your shout out, girl." No, but yeah, she was great. Shy, but she was a great Marine, and she got shit done. So she's right back there smiling.
Yeah, that popped out at me. I'm like, whoa, geez.
What is that?
Yeah.
A ghost. But.
Yeah. It definitely reminds me like the whole, because I love the way you put it, because I don't know, the best memories come from like the crappiest of times in a way. I feel like that's a good
for sure.
way to put it in. It's ironic because you hate it in the moment, but looking back on it like that, it's all fun.
That was fun. Yeah, it was in a very twisted way.
It's true how often some of our most cherished and funny memories spring from experiences that were genuinely difficult.
Whoa, that's my phone. Holy shit. Google, shut up.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah. Hasty ambush hasty ambush on the way in.
Hasty ambush. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel terrible. I need to remember more of those terms, by the way. I can barely remember ADRAC, hasty ambush. For a show like this, I need to be on point.
Osmiak? You can remember Osmiak?
Oh my God, no. Do I remember Osmiak? Osmiak.
Orientation, situation, mission.
Am I gonna choke right now? I think
Remember?
I think I'm gonna choke. No, I don't. I don't remember. Oh my God. Where's my knowledge?
Yeah,
book?
the good old five paragraph order. Do you have any of the pubs still? Like any of the
I do.
As memorabilia?
I have them electronically. I didn't have
Okay.
too many like physical copies. If I did, I think I gave them to like my junior guys like when I left. But I have a handful of physical ones.
Okay. You remember Command and Control?
No.
Remember that one?
No.
Doesn't ring a bell. How about Message to Garcia? No.
Message to Gar. I haven't heard that
Message
one
to
before.
Garcia.
What's that one?
Yeah. I think that might be not as popular one, but yeah. You got out in 2018.
2021.
What year did you get out? 2021. Okay, and then you did your 4.
Yeah. Did my 4 and then
Okay.
called it after that. But yeah,
Awesome.
the memory always, I mean, like with everybody, there's always the urge to want to go back in and do stuff like that. But it's the money's good right now, so hard to argue with
That's good. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Well, Stephanie, we are approaching the end, but I don't know if you've seen the ending ritual that we do here, but it is, or that I guess I do here. But to anyone who's listening that is still in, whether Marine Corps, Army, military, whatever, what advice do you have to give them if they're still in?
Yeah, if you're still in, I would say do your best to create balance in your life. There's always going to be more work to do. There's always going to be something that has to get done. When you get that thing done, there's always going to be something else that's a priority. But your mental health and how you feel about your life is the most important thing. If you're miserable, if you hate every second of what you do, great. The place and spot you're in, make the change. Don't linger in it. And it's hard, but you got to kind of let go of that fear and do what's best for you. And if you love to serve and you love your job and you love what you're doing, keep doing it. And remember, people are watching, people are looking up to you even when you don't realize it. So keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, have the balance, find a sport, find an activity, something, a hobby to get your mind off of the military life, because that's the only thing that you do and think about all day long. Every second of your day, it'll drive you crazy. So I found my thing, it was, boxing, jiu-jitsu. That was kind of my escape away from all the Marine Corps isms, and it helped me tremendously. So I recommend you all doing the same thing and having that kind of, that balance. So.
Yes, it's a great one to
Yeah.
have. Now, I know you just fresh off a fight, 3-0, by the way, so very congratulations for that. But do you have anything that you want to promote, plug in, people find you on social media, stuff like that?
Yeah, if you guys want to keep in touch or stay tuned about upcoming fights, my Instagram, Steph Simon Boxing. I have a YouTube channel too, which got some more music stuff and random stuff. If you want to check that out, that's Stephanie Simon 123. And follow me. I keep it fun too. My stories are not just training videos; they're impersonations, they're skits, all sorts of funny stuff. So I like to keep it light. I like to entertain people on my Instagram and social media. So you check it out, and I should be posting some fight news actually pretty soon. So
dope. Give Stephanie a follow. Your mom's a hoe. All right. All right.
Yes, exactly. Get that tatted right here too.
Yes.
But
and it is in regs now.
forearms.
It is in regs now. I forgot we can have tattoos, so I will definitely.
That's right.
Get that. All right, Stephanie, you were a blast. Thank you for being on. I'll let you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Stephanie, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
We're out of here.